It's the Steven Jesus show. Look, we're back.
And it's normal.
It's actually normal. We heard you, fans. We heard your request. All right. I promised you guys I will get you taken care of. I promised you will be a better view. I had to do some fighting. Steve wanted to keep it as is, but we
I
heard the
loved it.
fans.
I loved it.
We heard the fans and we did exactly what we needed to do. So let's get right to it. We got a lot to get into, guys. I apologize for last week. I truly do. I mean, just some of the bad picks. Who thought Aaron Rodgers was going to throw 2 interceptions? Nobody
Man,
saw that
nobody
coming.
saw that. Nobody saw
Jamal
it.
Charles
Lambo.
getting injured. Who saw that coming? Eddie Lacy just can't play anymore. I mean, I don't know what's happening with him. Julio Jones is hurt. That happened Friday at practice.
Yep.
When we shot the show, obviously practice hadn't happened yet. So
Yep.
there's a lot that occurred. We're sorry. We truly are. But yeah, we're gonna do better this week.
Hey,
We're gonna
it's fantasy football, and at the end of the day, you set your lineup. You got
That's
to
right.
take the ownership on
Don't
it.
blame
Okay?
it on us all the time. Don't blame it on us. Let's get right to it. Steve, we got quarterbacks for week 6. What do you got?
All right. So my top 3, and I'm going to do this show a little bit more differently. I'm going to pick guys who possibly have struggled a little bit, but I actually have them there at the top, ready for breakout performances, and I truly believe that these could make the top 3.
Go for it.
I'm going to start with number 1 because number 1's not really much of a surprise, but you have to have him
You don't know
number
where you're going
1, Tom Brady. Tom Brady has to be there against Indianapolis. He is going to put up mad points. Well, now that we got that out of the way,
Yep.
here are 2 guys that could potentially put up top 3 points.
2.
Yes, 2. Number
Now,
1.
top 3. These are your top 3 that to play.
Top
Remember
3.
that.
Top 3 to play. Correct.
Good.
I'm going to go with Peyton Manning. And I know you say, Peyton Manning, averaging 13, 15 points, not playing good. He's not accurate. He's not this, he's not that. Well, did you know that Cleveland gives up 28th most fantasy points to quarterbacks?
Look at this guy.
All right?
Look at this guy.
All I'm saying is Peyton Manning is going to have a comeback here. He will throw some touchdowns. Peyton Manning is number 2. Number 3, and I've been hating on his counterpart, and I've been putting him on the bad list. And, he's a Decepticon. And I just have to say, that third guy is Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford playing against Chicago is a juicy matchup. All right? And Matthew Stafford is going to have a blowout performance. He's going to be the 3rd best quarterback. Why, you ask? Steve, that's crazy. This is another guy you're giving me.
Who's
He's
he going
averaging like
against?
13
It's the
points.
matchup.
It is the matchup. Thank you, sir. The matchup. They are 22nd in fantasy points against quarterbacks. This is 2 guys right here. You could turn your fantasy season around if you got some bye weeks on there.
All right, so I'm up. I like Matthew Stafford. I really do. I don't have him top 3 finishing this week, but
Okay.
yes, he is going to be one of my sleepers for the week. So thanks for ruining that. But my top 3. I mean, it's a little bit of surprise there, but you're going to see right now. Give me Tom Brady number 1. Has to be top dog, number 1 guy. He just gets it done. He's going against the Colts. Colts were the ones that reported Deflategate, so they're going to try to rub it in a little bit.
Oh yeah, they're gonna go hard.
And they're on national TV Sunday Night Football. Yikes. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Then I'm going to go with number 2. I was 2 and 3. I was debating back and forth. And I'm actually going to switch mine right now. I had it as one way, but I'm going to put Aaron Rodgers number 2 against the Chargers. I don't see Aaron Rodgers throw multiple picks again. I think he's angry, upset at himself, and he's going to go ahead and get it done this week, and he's going to put up monstrous numbers. And then number 3 is my surprise. And this is because new coach, new system, not system necessarily, but he's being tougher. He's challenging this guy. And they're going against a very weak defense in Tennessee. Give me Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, okay.
Ryan Tannehill. I mean, they've been running Oklahoma drills in Miami practice since Dan Campbell has taken over. Oklahoma drill? Are you serious?
Yeah, that's a high school thing, no?
Changing the system. He is not taking it easy on his guys anymore. So I'm going to go. Those are my 3. Those are my main guys. Play them. Enjoy it.
I like the surprise there.
Right. So what do you got for your top 3 running backs?
All right. Well, top 3. Okay. So we're going to go a little bit different here, but we're going to go in the opposite. We're going to correct mistakes of the past that we've made. And Devontae Freeman has got to be the top dog because the fact is They throw to him, they make him run, and he's not being stopped. And when you're putting consecutive points of 20 for 3 straight games, you can't ignore that, guys. So if you have Devontae Freeman, he's the top dog this week because he gets a nice, juicy 22nd ranked opponent against running backs playing, that's right, those stinky New Orleans defense. You have to have him number 1. My number 2 guy, who's going to get a lot of carries and a lot of balls thrown to him, and that's Matt Forte. I love Matt Forte this week based on the matchup as well. He's currently ranked number 3. He's going to continue to get through those points, and I really do think he can get 20 points this week against that defense.
Okay.
And then lastly, my surprise pick, welcome back, Arian Foster. That's right, because here's why. If Doug Martin can put 3 touchdowns against Jacksonville, and I love my Bucs. I'm repping the gear today, but I can own it when I see it. That Jacksonville defense was a little bad. It was a little bad. So the fact that you have a much more better and seasoned running back playing against that, the guys who traded for him right now at his lowest value, you're going to automatically reap the reward. This man's coming back. He's going to get you 20 points.
Yep, you will be singing "Welcome Back," that May song. Absolutely,
Yes.
will be doing that. I actually didn't have him in my top 3 just because I don't think Jacksonville will be as bad as they were last week against the run.
Okay.
And then on top of that, there's really no passing threat other than Hopkins with Houston. So you're going to make them beat you in the air. You're not going to make them beat you running the ball. That's just my opinion. You would think that.
You would think.
Again, with Tampa Bay, Tampa has better receivers.
You're right.
I think their quarterback is better, even though I'm not a fan of Winston, and I think I've been proven right so far this year. I've always said Jameis Winston is a starting quality quarterback, but he's nothing more than that in the NFL, and I think that's exactly what he's been. He's been right down the middle of the road type of guy. But there's a threat to pass there. I don't see really there being a threat to pass in Houston. So that's why I don't have my top 3, but I do agree with you.
Okay.
You will be happy with what you see from him.
Yes.
Because he will get you a touch. He will get you 80 to 100 yards. I do think.
More.
Ooh,
More.
All right. We shall see. My number 1 running back, give me Adrian Peterson this week, coming off of a bye week. The Chiefs are depleted. The Chiefs are down. They're in the dumps. Give me Adrian Peterson because at the end of the day, they have nowhere else to go out there in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Give me AP, number 1. Number 2, I agree with you actually, is Matt Forte against the Lions. It's Matt Forte. They pass the ball, they run the ball, they do everything to him. Although I am very concerned with the workload Matt Forte is getting.
Yes.
So if you're an owner of Matt Forte, consider moving him sooner rather than later because he's getting too big of a workload. And he's a 30-year-old back. Let's not forget he's a 30-year-old back. And then lastly.
Oh, is it? You're going to put him in there?
Yeah. Freeman. I have to do it. I think I'm buying in now. The guy's just that good. I will say this, though. Devontae Freeman's another guy that I don't see making it through the whole season with this kind of a workload. He's a goal line guy, and if you look, this is something that can potentially become an injury risk down the road. If Tevin Coleman is out there, the guy on the other side of the screen right now to me, he just released Tevin Coleman. I've been considering picking him up, but if you can get Tevin Coleman, grab him because Devontae Freeman has always been an injury-prone player, and he's getting a big workload. You want to be there. Don't wait till he gets hurt, and then you have to hope that you have the right waiver pick. Do it before it's too late. That's just my opinion. 3 receivers. What you got?
All right, so my 3 receivers, and again, they're going to be a little bit struggling, some of these guys, but the talent and the matchup speak volumes. And my number 1 guy this week is A.J. Green. A.J. Green playing against a really, really bad defense against wide receivers in Buffalo. Jesus has been pointing this out to you for a while, and they just put up numbers against the Buffalo defense. Not to say Buffalo defense is bad, they just give up a lot of points to receivers. Fact. Yep. That's fact.
Yep.
A.J. Green is going to blow up. He's going to put up some double-digit points for you. My number 2 guy, if I got Matthew Stafford up there, who comes along with him?
He's back on board.
He's back. I am back on board. Calvin Johnson, bring him back at number 2. I know you fans are like, you just dogged him 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. But yes, but was I right? I mean, he did dip, right? It's now back to normal. Those fans that bought him at the low ceiling right now, you got him at the right time. He's going to put in
Look at the
double-digit
schedule.
points.
Look at the schedule.
Schedule
It's
getting
beautiful.
nice and easy. And then my third guy, yes, he's on the questionable list, and yes, it really depends on it. But I really like Odell Beckham Jr.
Okay.
All right, I like Odell Beckham Jr. against Philadelphia, and the reason why is just Philly's that horrible. And Odell, even when he's hurt, if he can somehow hobble along with that gimpy hamstring, he's still going to put up points against them. That's how much I believe in his talent. That's my top three, my friend.
Number one, Calvin Johnson against the Bears. The Bears' defense is atrocious. Give me Calvin Johnson. He's angry. He's out to prove something.
He's
Matthew
angry.
Stafford was angry too. He was benched for Dan Orlovsky. You remember that's the guy who ran out of bounds on a shotgun play and caused a safety to the. Let's not forget. So to get benched for a guy who got a safety without realizing it by running out of bounds in the end zone. That's when you know you're really bad.
Yeah.
So they're upset. They're going to score points. Give me Megatron. Fact is Megatron this year, and this is a fact, he's catching 64% of his targets. That is a career high for Megatron. That's a career high. The problem is they're treating him as a possession receiver. He's never been a possession receiver. That changes this week. They're gonna go deep. They're gonna go short. They're gonna go red zone. It's gonna be the Megatron show.
He's coming back.
That's right. Number two, give me DeAndre Hopkins against the Jags.
I like that. Okay.
Again,
right.
I told you guys that they can't pass the ball, but they do have one guy that they could pass to, and that's DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay.
I didn't understand why the Colts didn't put Vontae Davis on DeAndre Hopkins last week. That just made no sense to me, and that's probably why Pagano. And again, I understand he's been through a lot through his life and his career, but that's probably why he's not going to be there next year.
Yeah.
Because how don't you make that adjustment is beyond me. I don't understand that. And then give me. I had his quarterback as my top three. So give me Jarvis Landry against Tennessee.
All right, okay. You kind of pulled one of my moves, okay.
Jarvis Landry is a guy who plays hard, and he's an emotional guy. He finally got his emotional coach. You put those two together, that's going to be a fired-up player. And they've already said it. They're going to take shots down the field. Philbin only used Jarvis Landry as a possession receiver. This isn't what Dan Campbell's going to do.
Nope.
Give me Jarvis Landry. Tight ends, what we got?
All right, tight ends. I mean, I think at this point you're kind of locked in right now, okay? Number one's going to be Gronk, and will always be Gronk going forward. That's enough said. Here's where it gets tricky. Eifert now has to be that number two guy, and he's solidified himself in there. He's been putting solid points, and Dalton's looking his way. He's getting open. You can't deny that fact. Definitely. So now he has to solidify him at number two. Number three, it's a toss-up. I went back and forth. Ultimately, I went with Greg Olsen simply because, to your point, we discussed this off camera. Seattle's defense against the tight ends has been they've never been good against tight ends. They've been good against receivers and everybody else.
The biggest misconceptions. People think, it's a passing defense. Yes, but they're not good against the tight ends. That's very true.
Exactly. So Olsen would be my number three guy.
I'm going to go. It's very simple. I got Gronk, number one, against the Colts. You have to do that. That's the obvious.
Yep.
Then I'm going to go with Bennett. Martellus Bennett against the Lions. Again, Jay Cutler. Even if Jeffrey does play, it's going to open it up for Bennett. If Jeffrey doesn't play, it's going to mean Bennett's going to get more targets. It's a win-win for Bennett. So give me him all day. And then I'm going to take a surprise here. He's had his first game back last week. He looked pretty healthy. Now, they didn't give him as many targets, but he will get more this week. Mm-hmm. Julius Thomas against the Texans defense.
Okay.
Again, and this is, I'm hoping Blake Bortles is healthy, because if he doesn't play, then this is probably a bad pick. But I'm taking the chance that Bortles will play, and I really like Julius Thomas. Julius Thomas is really good for that offense, because you got Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns on the outside, which opens it up for Julius Thomas, because Robinson and Hurns are performing. Steve and I, we did a trade recently in which he got Hurns, and Hurns is performing. What he's doing at the end of the day.
He's doing his job.
Yep. So what do you got for defenses? This is your thing.
All right, defenses. I'm going to keep it very simple this week. A couple of different surprises, but nothing out of the norm. Number one, you got to go with the Ravens D against that San Francisco defense. They're 30th in giving up points. They'll turn over the ball. They'll give you an interception. They're going to give you points this week. Understand that they are 19th, ranked around that area as far as defenses, but they're going to come through this week. Number two defense, They're going to perform well. It's the Cardinals D. They're number 2 for a reason ranked. This week, there's not a lot of game changers or surprises as far as defenses. In my honest opinion, there isn't really that juicy matchup, based on defenses out there. So you go with your consistent guys this week. And I would say Cardinals as consistent as you can get. You definitely go with them at number 2. And number 3, obviously go with the Seahawks against the Carolina Panthers. They'll get you a touchdown, a fumble here or there. It's very susceptible. You'll get yourself the 8 points. But this week, I just don't see that big blow-up defense as we saw so many last week with the Broncos, Packers, Patriots, and Seahawks.
Okay. I actually do think there's going to be one defense that may potentially get you 1 to 2 touchdowns. And give me the Jets defense against the Redskins.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins is a turnover machine. The Jets, Darrelle Revis loves to try to turn the ball over. The Jets have a really good pass rush. So I will take the Jets defense against the Redskins. Give me that, and I think that's a beautiful matchup. I'm actually going to then take the Falcons defense against the Saints. People, they don't realize, but this new coach for the Falcons who was the defensive coordinator for Seattle has that defense for his Falcons, who has no talent whatsoever, playing like the Seattle defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they're scoring points. They're getting touchdowns, this defense. Give me the Falcons against the Saints. I already know I am down on the Saints right now. Drew Brees, yes, he looked a little bit better last week, but it's still not Drew Brees that we're seeing.
He's not Drew Brees-esque yet. Yep. No, sir.
So give me the Falcons. And then I'm going to go with the Broncos against the Browns. McCown, yes, he's playing really good. McCown's actually been throwing over 300 yards last couple of games, putting up big fantasy numbers, but the Broncos are going to be all over him.
Yeah.
Because the Broncos are not winning because of Peyton Manning. The Broncos are winning because of the defense.
Yeah, so that defense is playing lights out.
Exactly lights out. So we're going to go on break. A little word from Sport and Debate. We'll come back. We'll wrap this up. Everybody, listen to this. It's very important.
Sport and Debate is more than just a website or a podcast to me. It's a platform for all fans, from the diehard to the casual, to come together and embrace their love and their passion for sports. And I think that's what separates us from the rest. We love that passion, and we're ready to embrace the debate.
And we're back. Let's do it. We got to answer some fantasy questions, Steve. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for this. Let's go.
Right. At Taylor_Rocker ask, who should I start this week, Randall Cobb or Brandon Marshall?
I know the points-wise, you would say, oh, of course, it's Brandon Marshall. You know, he's up there. But I think this is Randall Cobb. He's elite. Randall Cobb's he's gonna get the touchdowns. Yeah, he had a bad week last week, but I like Randall Cobb. I think they're gonna bounce back. You're not gonna see that was fluky last week. Let's be honest. It was fluky last week. The Green Bay Packers, they're gonna score touchdowns. Calm down, folks. Start Cobb.
I disagree. I mean, of course you're going to start Cobb, obviously. I don't know. This guy should start both those receivers. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I know.
Unless you're in a 3-man league where you have that many good receivers, you should be starting both of them. But I'm going to take actually Brandon Marshall this week. I think Brandon Marshall puts up more fantasy points. He's going against a beat-up Washington secondary. No D'Angelo Hall. That secondary is one of the worst in the league. So, yes, I'm going to go with Brandon Marshall. He's been an absolute stud. Again, it's not that I think Randall Cobb's going to play bad, because he's not going to play bad.
Yeah, he's not going to play bad. Yeah.
But it's just if I have to pick between the two of them for this week, yeah, give me Brandon Marshall. They target him a bunch over there. So, yes, that's where I'm going. Next one. This is from at Alex B. Carlin. Mm-hmm. Who should I start this week at flex? DeMarco Murray or Jarvis Landry?
I think this one's a Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry's the guy. He's getting the targets. He's got a very, very favorable matchup. This is one you got to go Jarvis Landry.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's Jarvis Landry. DeMarco Murray played very well last week. What I did like the change that the Eagles made is they're actually running from under the center now.
Yep.
They're putting Stafford under center, because they were doing the option. Bradford isn't a threat to run the ball. So there is no option. The defense sees that and they know what you're doing.
They know. Exactly.
It makes no sense. So Chip Kelly made that change and he fed DeMarco Murray the ball. 20 carries. Huge.
Yeah.
So I do think that continues. But again, I'm still going to go this week with my main man, Jarvis Landry. I told you he's the top 3 receiver. Then I'm going to go with this next question. This is a tough one. And you would think not by name, but it is actually tough.
Okay.
At Taylor_Rocker asks, who should I start this week? Eddie Lacy or TJ Yeldon?
Ooh. I would still have to say Eddie Lacy simply because Eddie Lacy, we've known if you look at the track record, he gets hotter as the season progresses. They're going to give him the ball. In my honest opinion, this kind of goes back to our other question. If you have both of them, try to find a way to start them both because I think you're going to get the points regardless. But I think Eddie Lacy, people are panicking again because that was an anomaly last week. It's not going to happen. Eddie Lacy will get stronger. That's fact.
Eddie Lacy is known as a slow starter, but he's a strong finisher. The weather gets colder. They start throwing less in Green Bay, and then Lacy starts putting up his numbers. Yes, it's tough because you have to be patient. I'm an Eddie Lacy owner. I'm struggling this year, but I haven't traded him because I know what's there in the long run. I may go down with the ship, but hey, you know what? He will turn it around. You just have to be patient. Give me Eddie Lacy. And then lastly, this is from at get_in_the_van. Get in the van.
Nice.
Who should I start this week? Brandon Marshall or Calvin Johnson?
Calvin
I think
Johnson.
is easy.
Calvin Johnson. He's got a very favorable matchup. He's, we already highlighted Stafford being the guy that's going to get into the top three. That's enough right there just to start him. He's going to give you the massive points you need.
Absolutely right. And then now we're going to go with our sleepers. What do you got for your sleeper for the week?
Well, I mean, I think I've already highlighted a couple of sleepers for people based on my top three picks. The only other possible guy that I could give you that's on the lower list of things that has a potential to break out, if you're in a pinch and you don't have any quarterbacks out there, this is a guy who's owned about, across the board around like 40% of the league. I think he'll get you 20 points as a quarterback. I think you look at Joe Flacco this week and getting you 20 against San Francisco.
I put that face. That's a stinky face. I don't trust Joe Flacco.
I know you
don't. Me, but I get it. It's a sleeper.
Who started Bortles last week?
It's a sleeper. Wait. Who was talking to you about Bortles also? This guy right here. So we were in agreement. Don't make it seem like it was just you. Now, mine were already highlighted, but I'm just going to go ahead and emphasize them again to you. Tannehill against Tennessee. That's a sleeper. Calvin Johnson against Chicago. Everybody's down on Calvin. Now the schedule turns. If you didn't trade for him yet and you have anyone who's still worried about him, trade for him now.
Stafford,
because after this week, yes, and then Stafford is my third. You are absolutely correct. Yep. Stafford is my third sleeper for the week. Overrated. What you got?
Overrated. I think you could pick a slew of different guys, but I think overrated for this week alone is Le'Veon Bell against Arizona D. I think Arizona is going to stop Le'Veon Bell. That 18 points, that run that he had, they are a better defense. Do not underestimate Arizona. They will stop it.
Would you bench Le'Veon Bell this week?
I would not bench him, but if you have somebody like a Yeldon who's against a favorable matchup, maybe you consider it. Because I'm telling you, Le'Veon Bell, I'm just saying, Le'Veon Bell, that's a hard matchup.
Producers, can we now change the name of the show? Because after this, he's going to get obliterated. I will say this right now, and this is a board bet we're going to have right now. Okay,
board bet.
Le'Veon Bell scores more points than TJ Yeldon.
We'll do it. Board bet.
Book it. Man.
Book it.
And producers, can we change the name of the show? No. All right. I tried. Anyways, mine are actually a little bit different. I'm gonna go first with this West guy from Kansas City. And Steve knows how I feel about this. I'm very strong. Every time a player leaves the team or a player gets injured, you always hear, "Oh, well, this is the next guy to grab." Oh, because he's gonna do it if this guy did in the system. Jimmy Graham when he left, Josh Hill. And people always seem to try to find that replacement. Maybe the player that was there was just that talented sometimes. Jamar Charles is a talented running back. He, to me, is a borderline Hall of Fame running back. Mm-hmm. So nobody's going to replace that talent. And this West guy is not going to be the one. If I'm taking any running back from Kansas City, I'm taking Niles Davis. Because Davis has proven he could put up numbers there. I don't know anything about this Trajagian West or however you pronounce his name. I apologize. But yes, I am not looking at him. And he's like one of the highest waiver pickups just because, he's going to get the touches. Don't expect anything from him. Do not put him in your lineups.
Yeah, and two other guys that I have as well. Marshawn Lynch coming back from injuries. As you guys know, I am not a big fan of people coming back from injury. Marshawn Lynch is on that list. Exactly. He's against Carolina. A couple weeks ago, we told you about Foster. We gave you the heads up. Everybody else was telling you to start him.
And Rawls looks good, too. They're not going to just take Rawls off the field.
Exactly. They're not going to take him off the field. So, temp your expectations down for Marshawn Lynch. And, and also Carlos Williams as well. Carlos Williams missing that game.
Still on concussion protocol, too.
Exactly.
He's still on it, so he may not even play.
So calm your expectations. I'm already seeing projections being a little bit crazy. And I'm seeing on FanDuel that, the price tags are a little higher. Just watch yourself on those two guys.
Yep. And then I'm actually going to go with Bradford also against the Giants. He's throwing a lot of touchdowns. I get it. He's going against the Giants defense. It's a better defense. But not only that, people don't realize Bradford has given away 3 interceptions in the red zone in the end zone of the other team. 3 this season. 3. Yep. That's a lot. Yep. That's a lot. Yeah, it's gonna be a bad week for him this week on Monday night. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Giant fan. I think I just truly.
Yep.
Carlos Hyde going against the Ravens. I don't think Carlos Hyde is that good of a player. I think the Giants just played bad against them. So, yes, give me Carlos Hyde all day. I'm taking him, and I'm going to say bench him. Do not play him. That's one guy I would say T.J. Yeldon should play ahead of. Somebody like that. Not a Le'Veon Bell, the best running back in the NFL. That's just crazy talk. That's our show. We got to be out. Stay safe, be safe. Steve Jesus Show. Peace.